One of the many joys of living in Thailand is the opportunity to visit some of the amazing national parks and photograph the wonderful wildlife that they have to offer. In this video, I'm in my favourite national park again. Welcome back to Kaeng Krachan. This video is a bit special because this time I'm down there with three buddies. Dan and I arrived there early in the afternoon, set up the tents and tarps and went for a wander. We didn't really see much, but we got back and cooked some lovely food. Somebody paid us a visit and thought that he should have some of the food too. Here is our 4 days in the wilderness paradise of Kaeng Krachan. It's been drizzling all night, nice and cool enough. The bear came around a couple of times, but then first time ever in this tent, I don't know, I woke up on my hands, loads and thousands of ants, mainly the tiny little ones that bite, the little sugar ants. A few bigger ones which don't actually bite. Upon inspection it was quite easy to see how the ants had got in, and the pool of water too.
And here's our rather extensive setup. It's set up like this specifically so that if the bear comes during the night like it did, it's got to do like one of those things like in the Louvre where they have all those lasers and that pointing down so that somebody can't steal the diamond. Birds are up. And we're on this side, basically over in the corner, and this is where the bear, he kind of does his rounds, comes around, then he drops down towards the river there, then comes back up about here. And this is where he wanders along, of course. Came charging along here. As we were sat there, I was cooking there. And then the first time I saw him when we were sitting eating, I looked up and he was just about there. And then the next time in the dark when I saw him again, he was just here. He'd managed to get through all of the obstacles quite well without making a noise. What you have to remember is that this campsite background is, of course, just kind of cut out of the middle of 20,000 square, almost 20,000 square kilometres of jungle. And this is it, this is all there is. Apart from Phnom Thong, about another 15 kilometres up on the top of the hill. That's the only other campsite. It's even more rudimentary than this and a bit smaller. So when you're surrounded by nearly 20,000 square kilometres of jungle, this is why it's obvious that there are loads of things come in, and there'll be the bear, elephants coming in through the campsite on an almost daily basis, and leopards around on either direction.
Other than a few woodpeckers and pied hornbills, Dan and I hadn't really seen much the afternoon before. Of course we saw the bear in the evening, right near the campsite, and then again at night when it paid us a visit near the tents. But we were really eager to see a leopard, so we set off early and went over the stream crossings. Our plan was to just hold up beyond stream crossing 2 and wait it out. A night on a camping mat hadn't really done much for my sore back, and I was getting in and out of the car and moving around like an 80-year-old noodle seller.
So we're parked up here, up by just past stream 2. We've got the coffee on the water on the boil for the coffee. About 6:30. And there the oriental pied hornbills are waking up behind, or they've been up a while. But it's drizzling. It's nice. I mean, it's lovely temperature. But we're parked up here because we've got a good 100 metres or so in both directions, 200 metres in both directions, hoping that a leopard will just come out and walk down the road towards us as we're having our coffee. And silly as that may sound, that's really been the way that people have seen them recently. And then right where we are now, last night at 5 o'clock was where there was one. We'd just driven up. Just before that we were further up. I remember meeting a car and saying hello to a guy as he came down, and then afterwards he drove past here and it had come out onto the road run down the road in front of the car as we were positioned a bit further up, so we'd probably gone right past it. It might have been sitting on the side, but you're not going to see them easily. Anyway, fingers crossed, and if we don't see a leopard, at least we'll have some coffee.
I'm not ashamed to say that I'd really missed Dan, and I'd even missed his coffee pot. I know how much he loves his coffee pot. I kind of wanted to say that my Vietnamese coffee might be tastier. I didn't have the heart to say it.
Do you think that you would actually drink this coffee anywhere other than in the jungle, Dan?
No. It's a special tradition.
Second World War military granulated coffee.
This coffee pot's been going for 20 years. I've had it for 14 years. It's always used on every trek I go on.
Oh, this is part of the trip, isn't it?
John had it for years and years and years before that.
Before he died of coffee food poisoning.
His initials were JOS. So we used to set up this coffee pot on the back of his truck in the middle of the desert. We'd call it Josco. We made him a coffee logo and everything in t-shirts.
Nice.
And we'd turn up halfway around a trek to find coffee already brewing in the middle of the desert.
Oh, lovely. Well, I'm looking forward to my coffee this morning after about an hour and a half sleep last night.
And there you are. Once Dan had spun me the yarn of the coffee pot and all its history, I wasn't interested in my Vietnamese coffee anymore.
Oh, there you go. The classic coffee pouring shot. Nice. The reason why we're here in Kaeng Krachan this week, Mike, of course, is heading back to the UK in a couple of weeks, probably for quite a long time. I'm hoping that he'll be back at some point, but anyway, this is kind of like a last Kaeng Krachan trip for him. And Dan, who of course is now in Phuket, he's driven all the way up to be here as well for this week. So it's really, really cool, and that it's a reunion. It's going to be fun. We just got here. We got here last night, obviously. Hello, little bee. Look at that. Oh, lovely. And then the other two are on the way down now, hopefully. So here we are, and as I say, our big objective is a leopard, which is always our objective. And the brand new car is getting a christening of mud. Definitely need the four-wheel drive to go up to Penang Tung tomorrow though.
We had a couple of slow wanders up and down the road, and then it wasn't long before we bumped into Mike and Jamie.
Try to get a video when I have to duck. What are we going to see today, Dan?
Them ducking.
Them ducking.
Leopards.
Oh no, they must have just swayed either side of it. This one. A mini duck, there we go.
We headed again into one of our favourite trails, where we had previously found many different animal prints and even carcasses.
Aye, quiet Mike. What's he doing?
Looking like little blue crabs.
Oh, they're talking crab talk. Onward. Hasn't been walked much. You reckon? Yeah.
We'd been into this trail, which we affectionately refer to as the Scary Trail, many times before, most famously finding the carcass of a hog badger one time, with leopard tooth marks in it, of both a mother and the cubs. When we found the carcass, it was in the evening, and it was still largely intact and quite fresh. However, the next morning we went back, and it had been completely devoured.
It's run off, Mike. You've missed it. It's run off. Look at that. Mike's dream.
Annoy him. But when they piss,
Oh, he'll be alright.
Don't pick him up facing you.
Because you'll
Go behind him and pick him up so his bits are facing away from you.
I'm just feeling it. It's very smooth.
I want to chuck a big stone in next to him. Splash.
That's only 8 kilos, mate.
Operation Tortoise Rescue. You can't get over that log though, Mike.
He can't come back if he wants to, mate.
Put this side of the log back. This side. Put him on the log, see if he can balance. Go on. Bloody hell. Poor tortoise.
Bank over there, though.
Rescue the tortoise. It's tortoise molestation.
I like the walk too.
Watch him run off now, look.
The tortoise waddle.
There you go.
Ah, well done.
Yeah, that's it.
Then I think there's a homeless dude coming up. Should we talk to him?
How's the tortoise?
Slow? Slow. You know they've got like a little tail, like a long... like a...
That wasn't his tail, mate. That wasn't his tail.
Very happy to see me then.
The afternoon was spent looking for a leopard that never came, chewing the cud, and then finding bird waves. It was lovely to see a golden-fronted leaf bird, and see the orange-breasted trogon again. And between the drizzles, we moved up and down the track, above and before Kaeng Krachan. So woodpeckers. It was nice to see this monitor lizard hiding in a tree. And here, of course, the green tree pies. And then we were back for some food before going out herping. But we had a bit of a surprise.
I can see you. I'm coming back round this way. Where are you? There you are. Wish I had the strong torch. Just got the head torch on him here. Just up above. Oh, can you hear the scopsole? White fronted scopsole over there.
Quite uncharacteristically, we didn't find any snakes. Not to worry, it was a lovely evening, and there was no sign of the rains that had poured down during the day and the night before. When we got back to the tents, we realised something was amiss, or rather something was missing. The bin bag with the rubbish in of that evening, which we'd forgotten to take up to the car before we went herping. Someone, or something, had pulled it off its hanger, and there was a trail of rubbish leading down the steep hillside to the river next to the tent.
I can't believe he grabbed the bin bag just in the few minutes we were away. Mike's doing the honors because he reckons it's a good idea. I reckon we should get it tomorrow. It's very steep.
The big danger, of course, was that the bear was still there, or thereabouts, so we kept our eyes peeled and kept lights shining and made a bit of noise. It was very, very steep, and although Mike is a good athlete, I don't think he'd have been able to outrun a hungry, angry bear back up that hillside. But, as we'd soon find out, the bear was now otherwise occupied.
So it's about 10:30. We've all turned in. It's really, really quiet. There's hardly anyone here. And a big ruckus has started up there. Down the way. And the bear's obviously found a box or something. I don't know where he's nicked it from because there's nobody camping down there. Hopefully they the noise will kick up again. A big smashing and a banging. Let's see.
Banging and crashing went on into the night, like the sound of somebody or something trying to break a door down and open up a box, which is exactly what was happening. We never keep food in the tents or near the tents at night. Everything's locked up in the car. Even if it's in a cool box, the bear can easily smell it, and he will rip that box open.
Hello. Did we try to chase him, do you think? Where is he? There he is. There. I don't know if we've got actually just leaving let him wander through it. Watch out, Jamie. Jamie, watch out. Jamie, watch out.
Watch out.
He's in front of you. Just walk. Oh, you fucker. Hey! Hey! Don't leave your front door open. Well, it's been raining like this for about good half an hour now. It's one of our plans for today, but lovely sound. I'll get outside and see what damage that bear's done.
So I took a wander down to the small toilet block and realised that the door had been smashed in and a box had been removed.
Who did that? มีใช่ไหมครับมีทำ
อาหารที่นี่เต็มหมดเลย
ไม่มีแล้วไม่มีอะไรกินแล้ว
เมื่อคืนมีอาหารเนี่ยเต็มหมดมันเจาะตั้งแต่ตี 2ยันตี 4
ใช่ได้ยินแต่โชคดีเขาก็ไม่ชอบกินเป๊ปซี่นะ
ไม่กินครับที่ไม่กิน
Do you know how much they get paid to help
pour coffee?
Help a stallion do his business.
This is on video, of course. This is going to look good on video.
Put it on silent and dub some nice music over the background.
Imagine if it came off and then it poured on his head.
Jamie? Yeah? You seen David anywhere?
No, not seen him at all.
David? David?
After I'd played along with their funny little game and hidden myself with my camo clothing, we headed into an area where I suspect we weren't supposed to be.
What is it?
It's a bone.
A bono? What's it from? A deer, it's amber, or possibly a gower. So this is a new one for us, and it's like a gully, which obviously a stream does come down, or did come down, but we've just found quite a large femur there, and as you can see it's quite steep on either side, good for ambushing, but of course the bone could have been washed down when there was water. To quote the penguins of Madagascar, it's like the type of area, not my favourite, dark and ominous, but fun of course. It's very quiet.
As this was an area where leopards had been sighted many times in the past, and after having seen that bone and some paw prints, we proceeded with some trepidation. Of course it would be very difficult to see a leopard in the jungle anyway.
Someone's off the camera. What an idiot. It's not too difficult because we're in the stream bed, but very quiet, there's a lot of prints there, mainly samba deer and gawa. Oh, massive elephant footprints. Don't want to meet an elephant in here. There's a couple of almost big enough trees to get behind.
The many prints were proof of wildlife, but we headed out to meet Dan. Despite the already very low quality of my videos, you'd be surprised to know that there's a lot of crap footage that doesn't even make it in. Footage like this, which I decided to include on this occasion. I tend to rely on my hearing to locate birds and even on my sense of smell to locate animals, because my eyesight's pretty dismal. Can you guess what we're looking for?
A yellow-naped woodpecker. The female's in there, but the male hasn't come back yet. Anyway.
Having Jamie, Mike, and on this case again Dan here, with their eyes, was a real bonus. Joined by a really nice and enthusiastic German guy who was just visiting with his daughter. Lovely pair. We waited it out, hoping that we'd see the male return to the nest. That's a female. Although not exactly rare, yellow-napes are much less common than both common and greater flamebacks, and even the laced woodpeckers, I think. It was quite a find, and we waited there for over an hour, hoping to see the male return to the nest with some grubs, or possibly even see the female fly out, which she looked like she was going to do on a few occasions. It was, of course, wonderful to see this beautiful bird and hope that the male might come back. But little did we know that just at that time, as we stood there in the balmy heat, the leopard had come out onto the road only 100 metres or so from Kaeng Krachan campsite. A few people, including our ranger friend Jackie, had seen it. Once again, that beautiful, elusive mammal had eluded us. At least I did manage to get a couple of constellation shots of the female at the nest, and a rather backlit shot of the male on a distant tree. Fortunately, Dan managed to get a much better shot of the male, and then a couple of days later, he even managed to photograph it at the nest site. Beautiful.
Overcome his fear by touching the scorpion.
He's going round in circles. He's got his tail up because I pissed him off by taking the top off. He's back this way now.
Where is he?
He's coming down the seam.
Mike, do this.
No, careful.
Just touch him, Mike.
Don't touch it.
Oh, Mike, where is he?
He touched me.
He touched his fingers.
I'm over it.
Oh, well done!
Therapy, yeah.
Awesome!
Immersion.
Congratulations! Let's see him.
So there's one that I've seen. Where are all the ones I haven't?
Oh, where is he? I mean, he's not as big as that forest scorpion, but he's probably gives a nasty nip. Is he?
Flicking off. It's coming to the tent move.
Oh, nice.
Mike had duly been ribbed about an incident that happened a couple of years earlier involving a big but pretty harmless forest scorpion. But now he had overcome any fears. He would no longer be known by the moniker of the Scorpion King. Onward and upward to another top. 12-kilometre, partially paved but mainly dirt track up to the 1200 metre summit of Phnom Tung is obviously very steep in places. The road is not in good condition, especially into the rainy season as we are now. And there are a lot of holes and ditches and divots. And obviously it can be very, very steep on either side of the road at different places. There are also a lot of tree falls and even rock falls. We got to the top and arrived in a world shrouded in mist and drizzle and fog. We made haste to set the tents up in case the rain got heavier again.
Hello, whip snake. I don't know if you can see it on this, but I'll get the big ones. Who spotted that then?
Dan.
How?
That's brilliant.
Just wrong green in the wrong place. Or in the right place. So his head stays still and his body moves in the wind.
Everything's beautiful. And now he's just bouncing with the wind, eh?
You look like you're praying to him, Mr. Scoff. Praying to the whip snake. Have you finished in the toilet, Jimmy? I'm just praying to the whip snake.
What? Trying to get near it?
Yeah.
Because the air's like a new type of really deadly viper that can spit venom.
3 meters.
It always hunts in packs. One of them poses while the other sneak up from behind.
I've never seen, fortunately, I've never seen a spitting cobra in Thailand.
No. I've not seen this behaviour either. Yeah. It's like he thinks he's on the ground. Is it think he's pretending to be a leaf?
I think so, yeah. I think he's trying to blend in with the foliage.
Or you might be swooping down on him.
The oriental whip snake, also known as the vine snake, is very common in Thailand, right up to about 2,000 meters. It's a harmless snake with only a very mild venom. As the rains came on heavy again, we headed back to the camping area where there was a little gazebo and decided to have an afternoon coffee before we would head out to look for pit viper. We were joined by a white-rumped shammer who seemed interested in Dan's desert stories, or just wanted to get out of the rain.
100 metres in front of the car and 100 metres behind, but it just kind of faded into nothing in every direction. And it was dark orange. It was like being in Dune, the movie. And out of this orange faded thing came this big bull camel trailing a rope, because it was obviously broken free from a camel farm. And it was running, but they were running like slow motion.
Yeah.
So there it was.
So
and there's me in this Land Cruiser in this storm, in this weird orange world, and there's this...
I wonder if it's leechy up here.
I was wondering about myself. We'll find out.
It looks a lot more like Khao Yai this time.
Mm-hmm. Is this really the route, Jimmy? I think we're supposed to go up the other path, to be honest. Well, here we are on the Orchid Trail up at Penantung, and it's very wet, very windy, very fresh. But pleasure to be up here. Quite a drive up back, but this is lovely. I'm hoping to see some pups, pit vipers, whatever the new name is. Is this freshly broken down bamboo, do you think?
Yes, it's still green.
See the camera track like that?
Yeah, it was empty though. Yeah.
It's definitely a very obvious trail. That's the good thing. A bit slippery. Where is he? Ah, here he comes. Nice and camouflaged.
Much as we all love seeing elephants, I don't think any of us were eager to bump into one up in Penantung that evening. It's so far away from anywhere and anyone. It would have been a very dangerous encounter, just like the dangerous one we'd had the year before, near Kaeng Krachan. It was really good to be up there on the mountain top, and although we didn't see anything on our walk through there, through the Orchid Trail, the smells were just fantastic of all the trees and all the plants. It was so green and fresh, beautiful.
Who's walking silly? David's on the walk.
Kaeng Krachan is Thailand's largest national park, and although it's not too difficult to get there, once you get out of Kaeng Krachan and into the forest, all of the elephants and bears and snakes and even leopards in and around Kaeng Krachan already make it really impressive. But up here on Phnom Thung that evening, it was like a different world. Up here, looking across the vast, uninhabited swathes of mountains into the jungles of Burma, you're completely isolated. If something goes wrong up here, you really are screwed. But compared to all the trips I make into Kaeng Krachan by myself, being up there with friends was really reassuring.
Should have brought a what?
Handle for the middle. Holding that. Yeah, without calling down. Yeah. It's not going to be any more expensive than it was. And we put the side to have a link back round, even though it's a long way.
We got a pit viper.
Right in the middle. White stick. Right. Oh my god, well done.
Well, a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
See it? Can't now, I think that's it.
So a friend told me that they all the babies.
Merosurus popiorum, or Pope's pit vipers as they were formerly known, have recently been reclassified, are one of many green pit vipers found in Thailand, but these ones are generally found at higher altitudes. I've seen a beautiful big one here a couple of years ago. They are venomous and dangerous, and like all such snakes, the hatchlings carry a full, potent pack of venom. Getting bitten up here would be a disaster. We sat there telling stories and talking a reasonable amount of rubbish right into the night. It was a lot of fun.
You'd be alright, I wouldn't know you here.
We're all, everyone else is bugging.
There's David leading into bank.
Everyone else is running and he's just
I guess
there.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like,
There were definitely two bears up here at the campsite, and although we made light of it, the reality was there were tigers around too.
We just sit here all night to the dawn.
yeah, you know what?
Sit with our
I
backs to
should
each other.
Can I borrow your machete? Everyone okay?
Have you seen Naked and Afraid? The extreme ones, they take about a dozen people, maybe 12 to 15 people, starkers. They're not allowed to take any clothes. They're allowed one item. They choose like a bush knife or a fishing net or whatever. There are some people like great archers, so they choose a bow and arrow, and there are others who choose whatever. And then they're dumped and they have to survive with the film crew sneaking around watching them in the dark and stuff, but they have to survive. They did one in the Arctic, they did one in all sorts of places.
Naked in the Arctic?
Naked, yeah, and they would try and find ways of staying warm. And they did one in Africa.
What was the solution of staying warm?
In lion territory. And they have footage of this lion around.
Shit!
So,
I don't know. Snake, I think. No, actually.
seriously?
I don't know. What? Oh, the millipede.
After finding the biggest bloody caterpillar I've ever seen in my life and saying goodnight to the Pope's pit viper, we turned in, dreaming of all the tigers that were roaming around somewhere. We survived the night, of course, but there was no chance of a romantic sunrise. The wind was lashing, and you couldn't even see the famous sea of mists across the mountains. We decided to push on to Tall Tip Waterfall, a 5-kilometre track which used to be open to vehicles but has been closed for quite some time, followed by a very difficult 3-kilometre track up to the waterfall, which is now completely closed due to the number of tigers that have been around there in recent years.
Going down the track with the eternal hope of a leopard. We came up to see a black one or a normal one. Maybe we'll see a clouded one instead. That would be a bonus. Bonus, bonus, bonus. Or a tiger.
We walked on further into the area where tigers had been seen many times on trail cams. Every bend offered the possibility and it was silent, but we didn't see anything, except for this lovely tree lizard that Dan photographed on a tree near the old Hilltop Royal Lodge. We decided to head back out. We hadn't even seen any tracks, partly due to the heavy rains of the previous days. We needed to get onto the track down from Penuntung to hit the time slot as it's one way. And then we saw something amazing on a tree.
Just look, that's the dung.
Yeah, about to form lovely palm.
And that is a huge amount. It
must have been here for a while then. Or they love this tree.
This is one that they specifically laid out eggs
Yeah,
on.
you can see these little
3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah, they move when you touch them.
7, 8.
There you go, mate.
They're so defensive. That's just defensive, isn't it? Like
This touched them, they just went, yeah. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's like a shoal of fish.
Safety in numbers.
We estimated at least 20,000 caterpillars on the side of that tree near a lodge of the royal residence. I touched one to see if it was venomous, and it was. Back there at camp we also found some little blood-sucking leeches had been in our boots. During the rainy season, the descent from Penuntung can be quite hair-raising. But there'd been one pickup truck up early in the morning, bringing a group of people up to optimistically see the Sea of Mist, which never arrived because it was so misty and wet and windy and rainy. But at least we knew that the route was passable. After negotiating a massive boulder which had fallen down the hillside sometime during the night, possibly even just moments earlier, we arrived at a spot halfway down the hill where the wind was really blasting across and moving the leaves beautifully. Many of the butterflies that attract so many tourists, mainly Thais, throughout the months of April, May and June, were still there, but we wanted to see some birds. We moved on down and the rain started up again, but just after stream crossing 2, Jamie saw a flash of green and red. We were in for such a great surprise and a great ending. It was a bird wave. We stepped out of the cars and snapped away as best we could with steamy lenses from the increased humidity. This was my first time seeing and photographing a red bearded beater. It was a real struggle as the lens was steamed up and there was damp inside the camera when I changed the lens. However, it stayed there long enough to get a few shots. We also saw a scarlet minivet, and then a beautiful banded broadbill appeared. I've seen these birds before, but they are so beautiful and they make such a great noise. The orange-breasted trogon reappeared, and although we'd seen that before, it was fantastic because it alerted our presence to something else in the bushes. This is a bubuk, or brown hawk owl, seldom seen during daylight. I'd heard them before, but never got a shot. What a great end to the trip.
Thanks mate, that's perfect.
The shots that we managed to get there, they look really misty and blurry, but that's after a lot of post-processing. The originals looked like the shots were taken through a piece of baking paper. I also didn't have time to run back and get the tripod and set it up, so I asked Mike if he would act as a tripod, and he positioned himself, perched the 500 on his shoulder,
Even
and did the best I could.
Mike's doing well though.
Try not to breathe too heavily.
Does he leave his head right?
Yep.
I haven't now.
Left, right? Our left, his right.
Oh, sorry, I moved my hands. They're linked,
I've got him.
they're linked behind my back, and the moment I move them, it moves my shoulders.
Called back into Kaeng Krachan for a quick lunch, and lo and behold, there was another snake.
There he is, the vine snake. Lovely. Oh, look at him, he's moving around quite a lot, isn't he?
You've seen something?
I don't know. Well, maybe the noise, I don't know. What a fantastic end to our trip, seeing this whip snake right next to the little restaurant in Kaeng Krachan. We had lunch and we headed off, and I was fortunate to see and photograph this beautiful laced woodpecker on the way out. And then I saw some flapping around in the trees. I thought it must be a magpie or a green-billed malkoa, but it was something much rarer, a chestnut-breasted malkoa. I'd never seen one before or got photographs, and albeit through a rather steamy lens. What a fitting end to the adventure. And so brings the jaunt to Kaeng Krachan to an end. 4 great days. Thanks, gentlemen. That's it for another year of the Boys Photography Jaunt. Thank you for watching.